At this point in his career, Milan Lucic has been around to pretty much see it all. Currently on his 4th team and finishing his 15th season of play, the grizzled vet has developed quite the reputation for frequently playing on the edge. And by doing so, Lucic has given us plenty of material to talk about. Therefore, in this video, we'll be going over some additional jerk moments from number 17 himself. And with that, here are 6 more jerk moments from Milan Lucic. Most of us are fully aware of the phrase, making something out of nothing, and that's exactly how we're going to describe this first moment on the list. Close to the start of the 2017-18 season, during a contest between the Edmonton Oilers and St. Louis Blues, things quickly began to heat up in the 3rd period. Since St. Louis was, at that point, leading 4-1, it's highly probable that Milan Lucic was already frustrated. Taking that into account, this could be why he decided to lash out at Blues defenseman Colton Parayko. You know, one of the nicest guys in the league that literally folds the team's towels on the bench. Yeah, that guy. So, as Lucic is attempting zone entry, Parayko decides to lead in with his shoulder to make contact with his opponent. In doing so, however, he did make knee-on-knee contact in a rather awkward way with Lucic. Even still, Lucic immediately took exception and decided to jump the defenseman directly after, and in the process punches the unsuspecting Jesse Puljujarvi as well. Since the officials saw this as unprovoked aggression on Lucic's part, he was given a 10-minute misconduct on the play. Now, this one is just one of those plays where you could place blame on both parties, but obviously the antagonist here is Milan Lucic, who could have been more responsible on his end. Also, considering how many times in the past that Lucic has brutally hit his opponents from behind and caused them harm, we had to consider this one for the list as well. Within just minutes of the 2nd period commencing in Vancouver, Justin Bailey, who was retrieving the puck, was on the receiving end of a punishing blow by Lucic in the Nuck zone. Bailey, who seemed to be trying to corral the puck to teammates nearby, was unable to complete any passes as he became incapacitated following the hit. Looking at the hit, it appeared that Lucic came in and hit Bailey directly in the numbers from behind, resulting in his shoulder being injured. After heading to the locker room, Bailey's injury would keep him out of game action for the rest of the season. As for Lucic, he received no in-game or supplementary discipline on the play. A similar scenario to the last unfolded amid a final frame of play during a regular season meeting between the Flames and Jets. As Mason Appleton was attempting puck retrieval near the boards, Lucic comes in from behind and, while Appleton is in a vulnerable position, pushes him into the boards headfirst. While again, one could argue that Appleton did put himself in a tough spot, Lucic again made the choice to initiate the contact. In result of the hit, Lucic was given a minor penalty for boarding. Close to the midway point of a tied game in Calgary between the Flames and Jets, Lucic yet again was in the spotlight following a questionable hit. With Lucic trailing on the back check, DeMelo, who was attempting puck retrieval, failed to make a play. Lucic decided to hit DeMelo from behind, causing him to viciously collide with the boards and for DeMelo's teammates to confront the forward directly after. However, the Jets would have to wait until their next meeting with the Flames to truly settle the score, as directly after the hit, Lucic was ejected from the game due to receiving a major penalty for boarding on the play. So, remember when Paul Bissonnette wasn't public enemy number 1 in Buffalo, and instead it was Milan Lucic? In case you're new to hockey, let me fill you in just a little. Over a decade ago, Lucic decided to take a run at Sabres goaltender at the time, Ryan Miller. Years later, according to an article from NESN that will be referenced below, Lucic still showed little remorse for how things unfolded, while saying, quote, "He shouldn't have been standing there," end quote, while referencing Miller. So, with that context, we're now going to cover a similar situation that happened over a decade after the Miller incident. Fast forward over 10 years to Game 3 of the Battle of Alberta series. By the 3rd period, the Flames had to be likely pretty flustered considering that the Oilers were leading 4-0. For Mike Smith, however, who was leading a shutout, you could say that he was dealt a bump in the road. While Smith was fixing to play the puck behind the Oil's net, Lucic takes a few strides deep in the offensive end before before barreling into the netminder. Even though it's fair to say that Lucic did attempt to slow down a little, it's also important to point out that the contact appeared to be avoidable. Either way, the collision, as you would expect, caused a scrum to ensue shortly before Lucic was ejected from the game for boarding. And for the grand finale, we'll be traveling over to Northern California, to SAP Center. While the final minutes of the contest were winding down in the third period of a tight game between the Sharks and Flames, things for Lane Pederson took a rather scary turn. Pederson, who was taking the puck through center ice, decided to try and dump the puck in last minute. In doing so, this put him in a vulnerable position. Therefore, once Lucic decided to hit him, it sent Pederson headfirst, literally, into the boards. Pederson, who was briefly incapacitated, was eventually able to gather himself and to retreat to the locker room. As for Lucic, this time anyways, he would receive 0 discipline for the careless play.